So if your waves aren't coming in, they're frizzy, or you're just feeling stuck, it's probably because you're making one of these mistakes. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down 10 common mistakes that beginner wavers make and how to fix them so you can start spinning the right way. I'm Beantown Spins, your 360 wave specialist, and if you're serious about waves, we drop videos every Saturday that'll have you spinning in no time. So like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss a bang. The first mistake that beginner wavers make, bars, is blind brushing. As a beginner waver, you do not want to be blind brushing. Blind brushing will delay your progress and create forks and improper waves, bro. What you want to do is mirror brush, bro. Mirror brushing is what you need to be doing, especially as a beginner, because you're learning your pattern. You need to learn your angles, and it's the best view of your 360 waves and what you need to work on, and it allows you to focus in more and get a more precise brush session, dog. Now, I understand everybody doesn't always have time to do that, and that's why we blind brush, but again, I just recommend you start trying to practice mirror brushing because it'll have a great result of how good your waves will come out in the long run. The second mistake that beginner wavers make, inconsistent brushing, dog. The mistake here is you thinking you can brush for a little bit and just keep your do-rag on, and then somehow magically the do-rag is going to get you waves. The do-rag is just going to save your progress and keep your waves late. So if you're not brushing enough, or you're inconsistent with your brushing, but you're keeping your do-rag on, you're not making any progress. You're actually delaying your progress. So a lot of y'all that is like, oh, I still don't see any progress. Inconsistency could be your mistake. 2 to 3 times a day should you find times for a brush session. At minimum, you should be brushing for 10 minutes a session, dog. In reality, it should be 30 minutes throughout the whole day. But I mean, at minimum, dog, you should be brushing to 10 to 15 minutes each session, at least 2 sessions throughout the day, man. So you can be consistent with forming your waves, keeping them laid, smooth, and all that good stuff. The third mistake that beginner wavers make, brushing too fast. This is one of the reasons why I don't recommend blind brushing, because I'm sure we've all noticed it. I've definitely noticed it. When people are blind brushing, you notice that they're going like this. You know what I'm saying? They're not really paying attention to what they're doing, and they're just going too fast. And they're just all over the place. It's not even precise angles. It's not a race. You are taking your time. You're not rushing at all whenever you're brushing, man. So you also could just be brushing too fast and trying to rush the process. You're not supposed to rush the process. You're supposed to trust the process. You feel me? The fourth mistake that beginner wavers make, man, spend time on your crown. Your crown is the icing on the cake, man. If your crown is not up to par, bro, or you're not focusing on your crown at all, your waves will never be complete. You will always have incomplete waves. And you need to understand that your wave pattern, no matter what wave pattern you got, it starts from the crown. So I want to encourage you to spend more time on your crown. Your next brush session, I want you to challenge you to start with your crown and also end your session with your crown, man. You do need to improve that crown work time when you're brushing, man. Don't forget about the crown. Mistake number 5, if you're still here, like the video, man, and let's keep it going. Mistake number 5 is they're using the wrong brush. As a beginner waver, and waving in general, you need 3 brushes. You need a soft brush, a medium brush, and a hard brush. Your soft brush is going to be for when you have a low cut to like low wave. So if you are just starting and you have like close to a bald head, let's just say, you're going to be using a soft brush. And then your medium brush is going to be like your everyday use for when you're getting ready to go into that wolf, or your hair is growing just a little bit. You want to use your medium brush. And then your hard brush is when you're into that heavy wolf. You want to make sure you're using the right brush. Not only that, but a good brush. And the way that you know you're using a good brush is when you're brushing, you do not feel any pull, then your bristles might be too weak and you might need to, you know what I'm saying, get a better brush or figure out what brush you need to be using. When you're wolfing, you have more hair on your head, so you don't want to be using a medium or a soft brush during a wolf. You need to use a hard brush. You wouldn't want to use a hard brush on a fresh cut because that would be crazy. Mistake number 6 that beginner wavers make, skipping the wash and style. You need to understand, especially if you're trying to get waves at a faster rate, every time you wash your waves, that is the best time to smoothen out your waves, clean your waves, practice your angles, because your hair is in a manipulated state. And the more you keep up with a wash schedule, the more smooth, the more laid, the more nice they're gonna be. Dry hair, dirty hair, that doesn't equal to fast progress, nice progress, or any kind of progress. You're just gonna have dandruff, frizzy waves, and your hair is never gonna be able to lay down. Like, you're not gonna be able to manage it at all. So do not skip the wash and style at minimum 2 times a week. Mistake number 7, not wolfing enough or not wolfing properly. When it comes to waving and you're wolfing, which is just another word for growing your hair out, you're not doing it enough. And this is a problem, because then you going into a wolf and you're growing your hair out, that's when you got to really lock in, because this is where the progress is going to be made. And a lot of y'all beginners, because maybe you're not familiar on how long you should be wolfing or whatnot, you're not wolfing enough. 4 to 6 weeks, man. After your 4 to 6 weeks, the more you do it, the longer you go. But for beginners, 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how fast your hair grows, that's another thing you kind of need to be mindful of and be aware of. But 4 to 6 weeks for most beginners, and then you go get a cut and repeat the cycle. And the more you get comfortable with it, the more you learn how to maintain your wolf, you could extend longer. And keep track of your wolf as well, so you know when it comes to that 4 to 6 weeks, or if you got 4 to 6 weeks and you handling it, if you can go another week or so like that. Mistake number 8, this ties into mistake number 7. After that wolf, y'all are cutting too low or too soon. Every 2 to 4 weeks, if that. If you're one of those cutting every week, I mean, to me, cutting every week is crazy. Don't get me wrong. I understand we want to stay clean and sharp, but like, dog, when it comes to this 360 wave thing, I'm gonna keep it 100. You're really not even gonna be getting cuts like that. Most of your cuts are really just gonna be shape-ups. Now, when it comes to actually cutting your 360 waves, it should be a 1.5 or a 2. Most wavers might even tell you cutting to a 1.5 is too low, but in reality, it's not too low. Your waves can still show. It's just that if you're someone that's aiming for depth, if you want deep, nice, and full waves, a 1.5 is not gonna do it for you, because it's gonna be very light. So unless you're really spinning at a 1.5, you can probably get away with it. But most wavers, especially depending on your texture of hair, if you're a medium hair texture waver like me, it should always be a 2 or higher. Mistake number 9, yo, we almost there. You still here with me? Appreciate you. Like up the video, man, so we can get everybody right. It's these products, bro. The overuse of product, man, like overusing them it's just a bad mistake, because especially as a beginner, what you mainly need to focus on is the brushing. So I do say, you know, find you a nice moisturizer or a nice butter, but don't be overusing them, man. A good like rule of thumb to when to use products, and especially how much to use, is if you feel like your hair is dry or rough, especially after a wash, you can use a moisturizer or you can use a butter. And you want to use something light. You don't want to use heavy products. A little goes a long way. When you use any products, that much is enough, bro. A dime size. Even when you read directions on these products, it's gonna say a dime size. You know what the size of a dime? A little goes a long way. Don't overuse product. Mistake number 10, bro. Ragging up with frizzy hair, bro. Every time you take your do-rag off, I don't care if you're trying to flex for the shorties, whatever it is, that's why you better make sure you keep that thing on you, because whenever you take your do-rag off, even if it's for a wave check, your waves are vulnerable, bro, because you may start sweating depending on the climate. Brush anytime you take your do-rag off, bro. You don't want to just rag back up with frizzy hair. That's gonna ruin the pattern, and it's just not good. You always want to make sure your waves is laid and smooth before you rag up. So even if you unrag for 10 seconds, anytime I think about unragging, or if I unrag, I'll just grab a soft brush real quick just for the little baby hairs, and then we lay it down. Never unrag just to rag back up, bro. I mean, even if you got to use your hand to smooth it out, do something before you rag back up, bro. And here's just a bonus mistake, man. Bonus mistake. So we actually got 11 in this video. Y'all are giving up way too soon, man. You're delaying your progress, which means you didn't know you were making these mistakes, so that's not your fault. But then you're also giving up too soon because you're not seeing results. Waves can take weeks, even to months, especially if you are making mistakes. You just want to make sure you're correcting the mistakes you're making and then stay consistent, and you should start seeing results within a week in reality if you're doing everything right. Now, when it talks about getting to the perfect waves and the nice waves that you want, that's when it's going to take a couple more weeks to a month, because all of this is a process and you have to stay consistent. How many of these mistakes were y'all making, man? Let me know down below in the comments. No judgment. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, leave a like and drop a comment. And you know, we're going to keep it going with these wave videos to get y'all right. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one.